Hello everyone, welcome back to the tutorials again. So in previous session we have seen how to analyze the pre-stress concrete member and how to find out the resultant stress at a section. So just I will brief the previous session and we will move to the problems on this particular topic. So you can see resultant of stresses at a section uh, might be combined effect of stresses due to load applied, stresses due to eccentricity, stresses due to dead load and stresses due to live load. So these four things we need to consider while calculating the resultant stresses are combined effect of these four parameters. Now, a concrete beam which is shown over here is applied with the eccentric force or eccentric load, pre-stressing force or pre-stressing load P at an eccentric tendon which is located at an eccentricity E from the centroid and which is applied with the live load of intensity Q and dead load of intensity G. Now what is the resultant stress is important, which we need to find out. So in previous session we have discussed about it. So due to the pre-stressing force, the stresses which the beam is going to face is P divided by A, that is load divided by A. But due to the eccentricity, there is some amount of movement which is going to get induced. So due to this eccentricity, the beam is going to bend in the negative direction at the top and positive direction at the bottom. So I will tell you what exactly this bending means. Now you can see if the compression occurs, we have to consider it as a positive in case of pre-stressed concrete, and if tension occurs, we have to consider it as a negative. Now, due to pre-stressing force, if this is a centroid, due to pre-stressing force, the beam is going to bend in this manner. So I am going to show you here. So as this is not the case. So you can see over here, the due to pre-stressing force, the beam is going to bend in this manner. So you can see over here, so the same beam is going to bend in this manner due to some pre-stressing force. So at the bottom there will be compression, so we are going to indicate this as a positive. At the top there is a tension and we are going to indicate it as a negative. So this diagram indicates the same. At the top there is a negative, at the bottom there is a positive. Now you can see another thing over here. So another thing you can see over here is due to dead load. So due to dead load, what is going to happen is uh, due to dead load, the beam is going to bend in this manner. So you can see as we are applying the uniformly distributed load, the beam is going to bend in this manner. So at the bottom there is a tension, at the top there is a compression. You might be asking how I am judging the tension and compression. You can see over here the length of beam is from here to here. The length, let us consider length as a L. But once we apply the dead load or self due to self weight of the beam will try to bend in downward direction. So due to the bending of the beam in downward direction, what is going to happen, topmost fibers will be under compression because shortening is going to take place at the top and elongation is going to take place at the bottom. So due to elongation, I am going to consider it as a tension due to elongation, I am going to consider it as a tension, and due to reduction in length, I am going to consider it as a compression. And as I said, compression will be considered as positive in this case and tension will be considered as negative in this case as per pre-stressed concrete is concerned in any case. Now you can see, just I will rub these things. So you can see over here, I'll just keep only the things which we are studying now. So you can just see over here. So this is due to dead load. Similarly, due to live load also, whatever the live load which we apply, due to live load also the same thing is going to happen. So due to live load, the bending will be in same direction and the compression will be at the top and tension will be at the bottom. So you can see tension is at the bottom and the compression is at the top. So this is due to live load. Similarly, uh, this particular color shows due to dead load. So this is going to happen with pre-stress concrete. And similarly, if I want to calculate the combined effect, I have to calculate the combined effect by principle of superposition. So I am going to use the principle of superposition to calculate the combined effect. So you can see over here I am going to combine all these four influencing parameters. So this parameter is due to applied load, this parameter is due to eccentricity, this parameter is due to dead load, and this parameter is due to live load. So I am going to combine it, and at the top fiber I am going to get it as P divided by A minus sign is going to come, as I have explained it, PE minus PE divided by ZT plus mg divided by ZT plus mq divided by ZT. Now, what is ZT over here? ZT is nothing but section modulus. Section modulus of topmost fiber. Similarly, if I consider the bottommost fiber, P divided by A plus PE divided by ZB minus mg divided by ZB minus mq divided by ZB. So here P into A, E here is eccentricity, ZB is section modulus at bottommost fiber. Now, if F superior is resultant stress at topmost fiber, F inferior is resultant stress at bottommost fiber. Okay, so this is what they have given over here. So this is the resultant. Okay, now in case of pre-stress member, the cross-sectional area high tensile stress is being very small. So this I have explained in the previous session. Just I wanted to draw the diagram of compression and tension, so I have just repeated this particular topic. Now let us move to the problems. So this we have studied previously. Let us move to the problem. So you can see a rectangular concrete beam 100 mm wide by 250 mm deep. So it is a rectangular concrete beam. Spacing at 8 meter is pre-stressed by a strand cable carrying an effective pre-stressing force of 250 kilonewton. So effective pre-stressing force, that is P is equal to 250 kilonewton they have given. So breadth of concrete member is 150 and depth is 250 mm they have given. So spacing or span of the concrete member is 8 meter. Now located at an eccentricity of 40 mm. So this pre-stressing force is located at an eccentricity of 40 mm. The beam supports a live load of 1.2 kilonewton per meter. So beam supports the live load of 1.2 kilonewton per meter they have given. Now calculate the resultant stress distribution for the center of span cross section of the beam assuming the density of concrete as 24 kilonewton per meter cube. Now what we have to find out over here is resultant stresses. So resultant stresses at the center we have to find out. Why they have given this density of concrete is to calculate the dead load of the beam. Now about case 2 we are going to worry later. I am going to come back to this case 2, but let us study the beam first. So 100 mm is the breadth, 250 mm is the depth, length is 8 meter. Now the total live load applied is 1.2 kilonewton per meter. 1.2 kilonewton per meter is the live load applied. Now what I have to find out, So given length they have given, breadth they have given, depth, eccentricity is 40 mm. So you can see eccentricity is 40 mm from the centroid. So at an eccentricity of 40 mm we have applied the pre-stressing force and we have placed the tendon. Now pre-stressing force P is equal to 250 kilonewton, live load Q is equal to 1.2, density of concrete is 24 kilonewton per meter cube. Now we are having the formulas like this. So we need P, they have given, we need to calculate cross sectional area, that easily we can do. We need E, they have already given. We need ZT and ZB, we need MG and MQ. These four parameters I have to calculate, that is A, ZT, MG and MQ, as well as ZB we have to calculate as per our formulas. Now we are going to only worry about the case number 1, that is resultant stresses at the center of the span. Now these are the formulas which I have already shown to you. So first thing, calculation of cross sectional area. So I need A, so I am calculating A. So it is simply B into D, that is 25,000 mm square. So I have converted it to meter square by multiplying it with 10 to the power minus 6. So I am going to get 0.025 meter square. Next, calculation of direct stresses. So this first part I am going to calculate P divided by A, it is 10,000 kilonewton per meter square. Now when to calculate this bending stresses. So bending stresses are due to eccentricity. Bending stresses are due to eccentricity. So I want to calculate these bending stresses, that is PE divided by ZT, PE divided by ZB. So I need to calculate these bending stresses first. So how these bending stresses are going to get calculated? So for a rectangular section, section modulus is BD square divided by 6. BD square divided by 6. Or else I can say it as, I divided by Y. I is moment of inertia, y is centroidal distance. So I is given as BD cube by 12, and centroidal distance for a rectangular section is uh, depth divided by 2. So DD is going to get cancelled, and 12 divided by 2 is going to get 6. So like this we have got this formula. So remember, section modulus is nothing but uh, I divided by y. So this formula is obtained from that for rectangular section. As it is a first problem, we are going to uh, study a simple one. So we are studying this. So BD square divided by 6. So section modulus, I am going to get it as 1.04 into 10 to the power 6 mm cube. So finally in terms of meter cube, I am going to get it as Z is equal to 1.04 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter cube with an eccentricity of 40 mm. So I am going to convert it to meter. So it is getting I am getting it as 0.04 meter. So divided by 1000 if I do, I am going to get it in meters. Now bending stresses at topmost fiber. Here Z at top and Z at bottom, ZT and ZB both are same, as it is a symmetrical section. As it is a symmetrical section, ZB and ZT both are same. Now bending stresses at the top. So what is the formula for bending stresses? So it is PE divided by ZT, and at the top, and at the bottom PE divided by ZB. So bending stresses at the top, P into EP is 250, is 0.04 divided by PE divided by ZT at the top. So ZT I have applied, I have assigned over here, and I have got the answer as 9.6 into 10 to the power 3 kilonewton per meter square. So bending stresses at the top. Similarly, if I calculate it, bending stresses at the bottom. Bending stresses at the bottom, if I want to calculate, I am going to get it like this. I am going to get it like this. So bending stresses at the bottom. Now first part is over, this is over, this is over. So same way these two things are over. So I have calculated ZT also. Mg and Mq calculation is very important. So now let us study Mg and MQ calculation. So mg is equal to dead load bending moment. So due to dead load, whatever the bending moment which we are going to face is WL square divided by 8. We are going to consider the dead load as a uniformly distributed load, as the thickness is same, length, breadth is same, depth is same for the concrete member. It is uniformly distributed. So before calculating this WL square by 8, we need to calculate what is W. So W is weight, cross-sectional weight of beam. So W is equal to zero point 0.1. So area into density I am going to do. So per meter length, whatever the weight of beam is there, I need to calculate it. So zero point 0.1 into 0.25 is the cross-sectional area into density of the beam is 24. So I am going to get it as 0.6 kilonewton per meter. So by using this particular data, I am going to calculate mg. Similarly, by using uh, the mg, I am going to calculate stresses due to dead load at the topmost fiber, that is mg divided by zt, which is equal to 4.8 kilonewton meter I have got as a mg, and zt I have already calculated. So stresses at the topmost fiber I have got. Similarly, stresses at the bottommost fiber will also remain same. Okay, so we'll move further. Live load, bending moment due to live load. So bending moment due to live load will be WL square divided by 8. Live load they have given it as a 1.2 kilonewton per meter square. So I am going to apply this live load, and I am going to calculate live load per unit length. So after calculating the live load per unit length, I am going to calculate live load bending moment stresses. Okay. Okay, so stresses due to live load we have calculated. Now you can see over here. So we have already calculated these quantities. So that is PA, P divided by A minus PE divided by ZT plus mg divided by ZT plus mq divided by ZT. Similarly, these quantities. Now combining these quantities will remain. So at the top fiber, P divided by A minus PE divided by ZT plus mg divided by ZT plus mq divided by ZT. So as we have already calculated, this P divided by A is 10,000 kilonewton per meter square. So bending stresses we have got as 9.6 into 10 to the power 3 and 9.6 into 10 to the power 3. So same we have applied over here. Similarly, mg we have got as 4.8, zt we are already having, mq we have got it as 9.6. So zt already we are having. So we have calculated these things. You can see over here, mq 9.6 we have got, mg 9 point, mq 9.6 we have got, mg we have got as a 4.8. So same things I have applied, and divided by zt I have did, and we are getting the answers like this now. So same thing I have divided, and I have got the answer for resultant stress at the top as 14.3 into 10 to the power 3 kilonewton per meter square. In compression I have got. So at the bottom, so same thing I have substituted, same thing we have done, just signs are changed. So 5.7 into 10 to the power 3 kilonewton per meter square. So both top and bottom are tension we have got. So this is the problem. It is a simple problem. So about the case 2, you can see over here in this problem, case 2 they have said that magnitude of pre-stressing force with the eccentricity of 40 mm, so that it can nullify, it can balance the stresses due to dead load and live load. Now what are the stresses due to dead load and live load? Stresses due to dead load and live load are these things. So what they are saying is, we have to calculate the P such that the entire resultant should be equal to 0. So this should be equal to these two parameters. So we are going to study the case 2 in next session, and we are going to solve a more complicated problem in next sessions. So we'll stop here. So just go through the problem. If you are having any doubts, please raise your queries. Thank you.